everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E. Phillips, and we're going to do something a little different this week. We're going to talk about pitch decks for agents. This is something that I've been seeing pop up more and more often, and I took a stab at it, so I'm going to share mine with you, but we'll get into all that in a second. Normally what I do on weekends, it is Saturday the 18th as I'm filming this. Normally what I do on weekends is I vlog, and then on Friday, presumably when you're seeing this, it's a vlog of my weekend and what I'm doing. However, I'm kind of in a weird spot right now, and I woke up this morning and I was like, it's Saturday, time to vlog, and then it was like, what am I gonna vlog? I don't have anything to work on, but I also have a ton to work on, you know? So really what I'm gonna be doing this weekend is picking at my freaking query letter and synopsis again. We already did that last week in the vlog. I don't want to do that, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. I'm still working through that. I'm not changing huge stuff. I'm just doing nitpicky crap. It's just frustrating. Every time I'm like, yes, this is it. This is good. I go back the next day and I'm like, I literally hate it. We're just struggling through that. And then my book is currently out with beta readers. So I'm waiting for all of their feedback to roll in. So far, everybody has finished part 1, which is like the first third-ish of the book, first quarter of the book. I don't know. They finished part 1. And I think 2 people are almost done with part 2. We're schmooving through it. So they're working through that. I almost was thinking like, ooh, you know, everyone's done with part 1. I could look at that feedback and start messing with, you know, changing stuff or implementing things or whatever. And then I was like, no, let's wait until I have all of the feedback, because I don't want to mess with part 1. And then when they actually finish it, they're like, oh, wait, you need to include these kind of things in part 1 for the stuff later in the book to make sense, you know? So I don't want to get into it until I have all of the beta reader feedback. So I'm not touching the actual manuscript for anything at the moment. So yeah, most of this weekend is just going to be me picking at this pitch deck, honestly, and my query letter and just like little things. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't feel like that was super interesting to vlog, but I did want to share the idea of pitch decks with you. So these are a fun way to pitch your project on social media. You can post these pretty much anywhere. I'm going to post mine on Instagram because that's where I'm most active. I might have to reformat mine though, because Instagram is now taking the squares, the classic Instagram square, and they're making it like taller. They've like changed the formatting completely, so I'll have to like redo this or something so that it'll fit in the new format that they have, which is super annoying. But anyway, let's chat about what these are and how I think anyone could use this, whether you're going for trad pub or if you're going for self pub. So the idea here is to put together, I'm sorry if I'm shaking this. Am I shaking it? I don't think so. Am I? Yeah, I think I am. Okay, I'm not going to touch the desk while I talk. Okay, so the idea here is that you're going to put together a couple different slides to pitch your book. If you're going the trad pub route, this is meant to be something that agents can look at and quickly get like a really good idea of what is your book about, what are the vibes, what are the tropes, what are the, you know, main elements of this novel that you've put together. If you're going the indie self-pub route, you could definitely still make something like this. I feel like people make something like this anyway, even if maybe they're not calling it a pitch deck. But if you have a book that you want to get people like hyped up for and, you know, excited about because it's an upcoming release, you could do something very similar to this. Or if you already have a book out and you want to use this as like a marketing sales tool, do this for that. There's a whole host of different things that you could include in the pitch deck. There's a couple things I feel like you probably, I mean, you don't have to do anything, right? This isn't anything official, but there's a couple elements that I would definitely recommend adding into yours if you choose to do this kind of thing. And then it's kind of like a choose what you want to include. So I'll go through a bunch of the different things that I've seen other people posting, and then I'll share mine with you, or at least what it looks like right now, because like I said, I'm still tweaking it. I go to bed thinking it looks great, and then I look at it the next day and I'm like, wait, I don't like it. Now, this is of course not like the typical way you go about getting an agent, but I have heard people say that they have had agents DM them on Instagram or wherever saying, hey, this looks really cool, send me your query letter or whatever. Okay, so like, I mean, I don't think that typically happens, but if there's a chance, like, sure, I'm gonna do it. So anyway, I'm trying to prepare this so that I can post it on my Instagram page when the Smooch Pit showcase goes live for agents in mid-February. So I've still got some weeks to play with this. That is sort of the conclusion to the Smooch Pit mentorship program that I've been in since October. Can you believe that? It's been since October. Anyway, that is coming up very soon. I'm very excited about it. I'll get into more of the details of what all that's going to include when it's happening, but this is something that I can post on my social media and just have it be like a little added thing in case anyone goes to my page to look at what I have there. So typically what these pitch decks start with is like a mood board that has the title, has your name on it as the writer, and it typically has something like an agent's guide to your title by your name, right? For mine, I'm gonna change it to just say introducing title by Meredith E. Phillips, because the new title that we've come up with for my project is A Rogue's Guide to Winning a Wife, which is super cute. I did not come up with that. But if I put an agent's guide to, then it's gonna be an agent's guide to a rogue's guide to winning a wife. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So I'm just going to put introducing and then use the hashtag agents. What is it? Agents guide in the, hashtag stuff. The second slide for most people is the pitch. You can do this a couple different ways. You could have a 1-sentence pitch. You could combine a 1-sentence pitch with your comp titles, or you could do a little chunkier 1-paragraph pitch. That's what I decided to go with for mine. And it is like, it's kind of like a book blurb, but a little bit shorter than what you would find on like the back cover of a book. But it is in that same sort of flavor where you're giving an idea of the characters, the main conflict, the stakes, all that kind of stuff. These are incredibly annoying to write. I am still tweaking mine a little bit. It's pretty solid, but it's so hard. It's so hard to fit your entire book into a single paragraph. I've done my best. After that, I feel like you can kind of do whatever you want with these. So let me share some of the different slides that you could put into your pitch deck if you wanted. I do think you need to keep these like relatively short. I wouldn't say do like 20 slides or something for this. Keep it to, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range, because otherwise people are going to be clicking through and then people are going to be like, this is too much stuff. I don't want to read all this. So other things to include are, of course, the age category and genre. Is this YA fantasy? Is it adult romance? What do you have going on here? I actually don't have this in mind yet, and I'm kind of wondering, like, let me know what you think, okay? After I've shown you my slides. Do I need to add this? To me, it seems like super obvious from the first slide that it is an adult Regency romance. Or at least historical fiction. I don't know. You let me know what you think. I probably should add this somewhere. I have seen people also add in the current word count. Again, I think that could be good if you want to make sure that agent knows that you're fitting within the standard range for things. That might not be a good way to go if you have a really high word count, because I know that turns agents off sometimes. I don't know. I don't have the word count in mind. I don't plan to add the word count to mine. The word count is fine right now. It's sitting right at like 88.7. It's perfect, but I don't feel the need to like add that somewhere, but you could if you wanted. The next big thing that a lot of people like to add is a slide that goes into the tropes, the general vibe, the atmosphere of the book, and this can be a whole host of different things. It can definitely just be like a list of the tropes that you have in your book. It could be, a lot of people, say like, this is like if this Taylor Swift song was a book, and they do that kind of thing. So you can kind of go into whatever detail there you want, but that's another slide idea. Comps are also super important. I have seen these done without comps. I think a lot of agents like to see comps though, so I do have that included in mine. You could have a slide that just has like pictures of the book covers or lists the title of the books that you think are comps for your book. You can also go into more detail and pinpoint like, my book is like Addie LaRue because, and put in like a few bullet points of what about that is similar to yours, right? You can do it either way. I've seen a couple people who have like multi-POV books, and so they have one slide where they have like little mini character profiles for each of their characters, which is kind of fun. I've seen some people who highlight the setting. I think you would only do this if the setting is like really unique, maybe like some sort of fantasy something or other, or a book where the setting is a super integral part of the story. The story could not take place anywhere else. It has to be in this place, you know? So if the setting is like really, really important, you might want to highlight that in a separate slide. Most people also include some kind of snippet or quote from the book. A lot of people end up going with like the first line or the first paragraph of the book. Some people choose like a random snippet from elsewhere. I decided to choose a snippet actually from like chapter 10 or 11. It's like it's a good ways into the book. I wanted to pick a little portion that I felt showed off my writing style to some degree, but also was a scene between the two main love interest characters. The beginning of the book I really like, but it's from the hero's POV. He hasn't met the heroine yet. He's not even thinking about her. He doesn't really even know she exists at that point. So like there's no love, romance, there's nothing happening there because he has no idea about her yet. So I wanted to pick something from later where it's the two of them interacting, because if you're reading a romance, you're probably interested most in how the two main characters are gonna like be together, right? So that's the snippet I picked for mine. I've seen a couple people include a slide that has like comments from critique partners or beta readers, like reaction comments. I love this, so I do have that in mind too. And then I've also seen a couple people who have character art, which is super fun. I'll definitely include that if you have character art. And I have seen other people include like how to get in touch with you if an agent is interested. I feel like that's not super necessary because if you're, especially like on Instagram, just DM the person, right? Like, so I don't know if that's super necessary. You can put it if you want. Anyway, let me share my screen here real quick and I will share with you my current pitch deck. Maybe we'll change it. I did a poll on Instagram yesterday. It's still up. Hold on, let me look at it. Because I had two like initial pages with the mood board and title, and I could not for the life of me decide on a font. I'll show you the two choices I had. I liked the first one, this one, because I thought the font was very like old time Regency England sort of font, you know, like it had that sort of vibe to it. But from a distance, and if it's small on a screen, it is a little tough to read. The second font, this one, is definitely bolder, definitely easier to read. It's not quite as Regency-esque. It looks a little more playful, which I did like that aspect of it because there is like humor in my book. So it's not that it's like some sort of weird complete mismatch, but it didn't scream Regency to me. In the end, I decided to go in favor of the readability, and so I did pick that second option for this current version. Who knows? Maybe I'll go in and change it and it'll be a completely different font. I don't know. I don't know. But the poll on Instagram is currently 30 votes for option 1 and 37 votes for option 2. So we'll go with option 2 and hopefully you guys know what you're talking about. Okay, so let me share my screen with you real quick and I'll talk you through the different elements of my pitch deck. Okay, so this is the opening slide. I've got my introducing instead of an agent's guide to for the before mentioned reasons. And then the title, I've got my name on it, of course. I've got some different images that should hopefully get you in a Regency romance mood. This is actually, I was so excited when I found this because I'm such a nerd. This is literal text from White's betting book, this down here. And it says, look, wagers and guineas. Are you so excited? All right, so my book includes a lot of wagers and it includes White's betting book as sort of like a little plot element. This was a book that was at White's Gentlemen's Club. It's not the Gentlemen's Club we have today. Okay, this is like a formal affair. It's just a fun place for men, but not like that. Listen, men would go there and talk and have drinks and eat food and play pool and stuff like that and read newspapers. That's what was happening there. You can still join White's today. It is still in London, but only if you were a man, because it is a men's club. Anyway, back in the day, they had a big book that people would write wagers in. They would bet on different things, and they would write their bets in the book to make it like official. And then whoever won, it was like official, and they had to pay whatever the forfeit was. So you can get the text of White's betting book online. You can read the whole thing yourself. These men were betting on so much crazy stuff. Some of it was serious. They'd be like, well, I think Napoleon's gonna be dead by this date or something like that. And then other stuff was like, are you serious, you guys? They'd be like, I think this woman's gonna be pregnant by the end of the year. There's like, geez. They were just bored. You know, people were bored. And so they were just doing all this goofy betting. Anyway, that's the first slide. Let's go to slide number 2. Slide number 2 is my pitch. If you want to pause and read it, you can, but this is what it is. So I've got that on there. The next slide is the tropes, the vibes. I don't know if I'm going to leave this as with this and vibes bit. This isn't really vibey. I don't know. I wanted to put more than tropes, but I didn't know what to put. Anyway, this is what it is for the moment. The tropes you will find in this book. I have comp titles next. I decided to go with the idea of like putting the book covers of the comp titles and then also detailing on the side like, why is this a comp for my book? So I have all these other different, you know, all this kind of stuff on the side that tells this thing is in this book. It's also in my book. So that's that slide. Then I have a what readers are saying. So these are little snippets of comments that I've pulled from my mentor's notes, from beta reader notes, from critique partner notes of like reactions to different things in the book. So there's that. I think it's super fun. And then we have a teaser. This is, like I said, from a little later in the book. I think it shows a nice little dynamic between them. It shows my writing style, blah, 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 blah. You can read it if you want to pause the video. So that is pitch decks. I think these are super fun. It's fun and frustrating to make them. I don't think that I'm particularly good at graphic design. I'm especially terrible at choosing like colors that go together or like fonts that look good. It takes me forever to make this kind of thing because I'm constantly questioning my choices. I do use Canva for this. I would highly recommend Canva. I've used Canva for years now for all my thumbnails, tons of different social media posts. That's what I use. To me, it's super easy to learn. I didn't have any problems figuring it out. Click around, you'll figure it out too. You can get a free version of Canva if you just sign up with your email address. You can get a free version. The free version has a lot that is included with it. There are special features and other elements that are only available through the paid subscription. I do have the paid subscription, but you can do a lot with Canva even with just the free version of it. So definitely check out Canva if you haven't. Generally speaking, when it comes to fonts and text and colors, keep in mind that this is going to be on a tiny phone screen most of the time. So you want to make sure you're choosing fonts that are clear, that can be easily read at a glance, and you want to make sure the colors are contrasted enough so that, again, it kind of pops and is easy to read. I've seen some pitch decks where the font that they use is really cool, but I do find myself like glazing over it because it takes a little bit more effort to actually read, and you don't want to lose someone's attention just because you picked a weird font, right? So try to keep it simple. Try to, download the files and see what it looks like on your phone before you actually go and post things. So let me know if you've ever done a pitch deck before, or if this is something new to you and you want to give it a try. Let me know what you thought of mine, if you think something wasn't clear, if you think it looked terrible, if you think any other thoughts about it. I'd love to have your input. And yeah, I think that is about it. So a little bit shorter this week. I'm sorry about that, but I'm not like doing anything in particular this weekend other than picking at things I've already finished. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I usually post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.